Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Hot Press Speakeasy here on day 3 of All Together Now in this fantastic weather. I'd like to introduce a good friend of Hot Press, who I think is probably the most exciting young artist in Ireland. Will you please put your hands together for the marvellous David Keenan, ladies and gentlemen. Now, David's going to give us a couple of songs in a few minutes, but we're just going to have a little chat first of all. David, you just got down here today. You're just after arriving. You weren't here last night or anything like that.
No.
Have you had a chance to have a wander around at all yet? Or?
Just there now. Just as I went in and got some grub.
Yeah?
Such a novelty to be
Fed?
What?
To be fed?
So well, I did a festival over in England there a couple of days ago, and it was hard to get a bottle of water.
Oh, right, okay. Well, if you, I mean,
so it's beautiful, great. It's just a great place. I'd love to go into the history because I feel a bit embarrassed that I'm walking through those courtyards and you feel something that's there.
Well, this is the Earl's house here behind us. I think.
The which?
The Earl's house is here behind us.
Right.
And he's got a. I'll tell you what you should do. Go over and look around the far side and see if you can see the swimming pool. It looks like it's full of lilt. You have to see that. That's worth saying. Anyway, we were here.
There's a few swimming pools full of lilt in Dundalk, you know.
Yeah, well, there's probably a few of them.
Puddles full of lilt.
The David, I don't know who, if any in the crowd here were there earlier on. David played a gig up at the Road to Nowhere stage at 2 o'clock there. Yeah, definitely. And as usual, a fantastic show. A full band show this time. The band are really coming on in leaps and bounds. There seems to be a real... It's tight but loose now at this stage, would you say?
Yeah, that's what you're after. Tight but loose. Because I think when you're in any sort of situation, when you're creating with people, it's just about getting that kind of telepathy. But it's all about just gathering the right heads, people that you feel comfortable with when you're sitting and you're extolling all the virtues of life over a pint or a cup of coffee or something, and people that you just love spending time with, you know. And everybody and all the men in that band have all taught me something, you know.
Would you say, like, Gavin and Graham and Harry and the lads and everything, it's just as important for you to be them to be your kind of people than to be great, as important as being great musicians.
Well, that's what it's all about. Do you know what I mean? Imagine putting yourself in a situation where you're walking on eggshells around somebody in a job, or this is as I said to the boys before we walked on, everything in the in-between is for this. It's for moments like this, you know. So imagine walking in onto a stage about to express yourself, and you have someone with you that you're walking on eggshells around. I mean, there's no time for that. Life's too short.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it shows in the show there. I mean, there's you've spoken before about there being a kind of a telepathy between you and the guys that you're getting so used to playing with each other. Especially say Gavin today, I thought was extra special. I mean, he really was playing some great music today. I mean, is it just a case of the more you play, the better it gets with them?
Well, I think for the first while, I mean, I'm my own person. I'm an individual now. A bit of a strange fish, so it naturally it takes time for people to come to grips with the idiosyncrasies and vice versa. You know, you want to be around people that you can feel like you can just be yourself around, and as I said, to feel absolutely at one when you're expressing yourself. So the first couple of gigs, naturally, you're overcoming all those inhibitions, and then I think at Forbidden Fruit we kind of locked on to something, you know, this kind of this beautiful beast. And I mean, I've observed myself naturally being able to go out into the audience and among people, and the song has just taken me there, and that wouldn't have happened this time last year.
Well, that's, so you're talking about they're going out into the audience. Now, I hadn't seen you do that before, something that you did today. You stepped down off the stage and went into the crowd and, beckoned people towards you, and it really worked. I mean, was that a spur of the moment thing, or was something you think, I think this can work?
It's not premeditated, you know. It's like playing the song. You never play you never play the song the same way twice. That's an insult to the moment, you know. So you trust the self, and the muse, or whatever you want to call it. It tells you, you know. I was whispering, get down, get down, get down, get down. Come here, come here, come here, come here.
But you can see, I mean, it really, as a gimmick is the wrong word. That's not the word I want to use. But as a move, it really, you've talked a lot before about, that you see the audience as a community and it's your community.
It is.
And that was a kind of that was, just the move this morning was the thing that.
But it is for me, because I've experienced it at gigs, and it's like in Whelan's in January, it's not all about me. Do you know what I mean? And that might sound a bit rich, you know. It's not all about me bullshit, but I mean it, because at that gig in Whelan's, my first gig in Whelan's, you know, you're hoping that people are going to come out to the room, but then there's a level of understanding cultivated in the room where I feel like, Jesus Christ, you know, this is what I dreamt about when I was in my bedroom at 14 years of age, and I didn't even have the confidence to go out and play to one man and his dog, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is what it's all about, and the people that come to the gigs have gifted me that sense of reassurance and sense of confidence in myself.
Right.
So very much it's a case of me trying to cultivate something together at a gig. You know, it's not insular. It's not me up there trying to fan any kind of ego or anything like that. Every gig is cherished. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's why there was moments there in Love in a Snug where I nearly went. You know, I had to hold on to the mic because it was gassed, and I need to because it's so new. I need to kind of pace myself as well. But I could be dead in the morning. You know what I mean?
You do more of that.
Everything, every gig could be your last gig. You
Yeah.
have to
Well, that's the way to do it. I mean, but you're doing more of that where you're maybe putting the guitar down more.
Yeah.
Is that? I mean, is that because you feel the confidence of the band behind you, and you
Yeah.
feel you can maybe communicate better with the audience?
Yeah, and
You
like
know?
I spent, you know, the last 5 or 6 years gigging up and down Ireland, just me and the guitar, and I think I've naturally kind of formed this kind of sound where there's not many gaps because I've always been a kind of one-man band.
Right.
But now that I have a great band, I can put that down and I can express the songs in a different way, and I don't have to rely on myself and this instrument here. I can use different things, and it's all about evolution as an artist. You know, stagnation's death. I want to just keep progressing, and this is all about investigating the psyche and trying to unravel the self, and that's the whole goal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And every day.
Well, when you're talking about there that you know you were gigging up and down Ireland with the acoustic guitar. Now you've just been over to America for your second. I think it's your second tour on your own, is it?
Well, I was there in January for a few days, but this was
But this was
a
a
week job. Yeah.
first big one, and you said it was loads of gigs all over the place.
Yeah.
But I mean, you were back on your own with the acoustic guitar there. Did it? How does that feel now? When does it feel kind of emptier up there because?
No, it's a different beast altogether, because when you're in a small room and you can see the whites of people's eyes, and it's different. With the band, something is lost.
Yeah.
That intimacy is lost in a sense. And maybe that's why subconsciously I wanted to go down and be in touch and distance with people, you know. But America was...
Were the smaller venues? I mean, did it?
Yeah, they were all
does it-
small.
Smaller venues lend itself more to the acoustic.
the first
guitar?
gig was sold out, but that was in the Irish Arts Centre,
Right.
so that was kind of, you know,
Yeah,
one of our own comes to town, and people naturally come out. You know what I mean? So I was thinking, right, anything after that, I think the third gig in was about 20 people, and I was thinking, right, if this is it for the rest of it, if I
Yeah.
can get through to 5 or 6 of them.
But if you're touching 20 people, then that's enough, isn't it?
But then after that, most of them sold out, and it was
All right,
100, it was 120, 150 seaters, and that was incredible. And you don't question that at the time because you'd lose your marbles. You know what I mean? So, different landscapes, different people, different attitudes, different culture. A place of a lot of broken dreams, and a lot of contrasts that are very evident on the streets. But I mean, that's everywhere. That's here. That's an
Well, I
everything.
mean, you're saying that there, and you know, a lot of stories and everything. So you were also saying beforehand that as you're going around a place like America, for example, you've got to be inspired by everything that's happening around you in the streets and the people you're meeting. And you were saying you were working on stuff in the every night in the motel and the whole lot.
Yeah. I mean, the landscape just seeped into the songs, and I found myself coming out with lyrics that I wouldn't necessarily think were in me. But that's the landscape coming in, motels and all this kind of Hitchcock kind of characters that you meet along the way. They're just unbelievable kind of characters. But for as a songwriter, it's gold, you know.
Well, that's a nice gentle segue into you
yeah.
giving us a song, giving us one of those songs from your motel writings. Ladies and gentlemen, David's going to give us a song. We're going to talk some more after. So if you want to give him a round of applause, I think he deserves it.
You got me. There you go. Take that guitar down a little bit, brother. Not a lot. Put the mic up if you can. Motel Mentalismo. Hope sits on a globe wearing a blindfold, taking a broken lyre. She looks down on Katie Lawrence on a splintered stage. Charing Cross, 1892, I rubbed my stubble against your cheek. She laughs, she beams, she laughs, she beams in a dress of eggshell white. Invest your trust into my chest and step into the night. Your baby's wearing cement mixer wrists. She looks like a queen in polyester clothes with a bull ring through her nose. Ah, what would the mother say? Hers life and your aurora borealis of thought. Immaculate conceptions formed in privacy and in peace. Sweet decadent, she took the hook from my mouth, spat it into a bucket of grief. Nevermore shall I judge a place by the state of the hopheads on its busiest street. Here in Motel Mentalismo, on mandarin-colored stairs, couples court and peel away the protective layers unself-consciously in the shadows. The breakfast lady puts her face on upside down. Peroxide eyes, she lights her fourth cigarello in half an hour. Yellowed fingers having just laid the spread for happy people and the living dreads. There's life in your aurora borealis of thought. Immaculate conceptions formed in privacy and in peace. A sweet decadent, she took the hook from my mouth, spat it into a bucket of grief. Nevermore shall I judge a place by the state of the hopheads on its busiest street. Hell's Kitchen is alive and thriving. Hell's Kitchen is eyeing me up. The waitress fills my cup. She smells of sunlight. I feel like a bum with my lazy shave. So beautiful and charged, pure yet threatening. We talk licks and kisses on a gravel road. Long-legged paleness. Arise, arise, translucent eyes, beware as you piss against the electric fence of life. And the Iranian priest dragged himself across the street. He is weary of applause, but he needs it for to sleep. And so he stands on his head, and I clap with one hand. There's life in your aurora borealis thought. Immaculate conceptions formed in privacy and peace. Sweet decadent, she took the hook from my mouth, spat it into a bucket of grief. Nevermore shall I judge a place by the state of the hopheads on busiest street. The fella must be dreaming. The fella must be dreaming. Hope sits on a globe wearing a blindfold, playing a broken lyre. She looks down on Katie Lawrence on a splintered stage. Charing Cross, 1892.
What about that, folks? David, I've just noticed the front of your guitar there. You want to tell me what's going on there with the various pictures and writing on the front of it? Just caught my eye.
Well, these are all clues. This is a...
Well, you better show the folks.
Well, yeah, sorry. There you go. I sometimes when I write, I kind of light a candle, you know, and you try to evoke the bards or evoke the muse, or I think this is just having imagery close at hand, and it just seemed like a good idea at the time. It's funny, all these pieces are all different cuttings of different poems by other people and letters. But it's kind of a Burroughs thing. Some of the lines actually read into each other now. So it's a bit of surrealism there for you, Pat. But no, it's just yeah, seemed like a good idea at the time. I love it.
Let's go into that then from there. I mean, the written word has always been very important to you. We've talked about it before, but the various writers that was it your grandmother used to read stuff to you? And
well, just in that house, you know, was full of books, and I never was any good at school. I never had any interest in school. And but my grandfather's house and my granny, that was kind of a you know, it was just a great breeding ground for stories and songs and.
I mean, and you write prose outside of just the songs. It's not just songs that you work on as well. I mean.
Yeah, well, I have done. I mean, I'm not sure if it's poetry or It's not. It's definitely. I don't know. It's definitely not poetry. You can't say it's poetry because look who you're up against. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? I mean, I was reading Paul Durkin the other day, and he said, "What's that line?" He said, "A woman, in definition, is a walking resurrection." You know, and
that's nice.
You know, like fucking hell. How do you? That's genius, you know.
Well, you wrote poetry for us. Sorry, I'm just after remembering that.
Yeah.
David wrote his Road Diaries and was.
But I didn't say it was poetry though. It's just words. Yeah. Just words.
Well, in the office we didn't say it was poetry either when we got it. But we published a few of David's diaries as he went around the country, and he was very good to give them to us, and they were very enjoyable. I mean, did you get a kick out of doing that, or did you find that a chore?
Yeah, no, I did. I was like. Fulfilling a childhood dream to be an associated writer with Hot Press. I mean, I'm a writer with singing problems. Do you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
So that was I got a real kick out of that. Thanks for the opportunity, and Roisin as well. And But it was great because I kind of had you have to do this when the gigs were fresh in the memory.
Right. Yeah.
And it was an exercise in writing. So yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Well, I mean, talking about that as it all feeds into. You strike me as a fella that as soon as you're awake, it's all about the art and it's all about, you know, the whole thing it's none of it's contrived, it's a whole package. You know, we've spoken before about your big influences and you mentioned names like Dylan and Nick Cave and Leonard Cohen and people like that, you know. And they're very much artists who are, you know, from their shoes up, it's a complete package and it's, you know, while some of it might be constructed and everything, it's all part of it. So when you were getting started, when you were starting to get noticed and when I had met you first, you know, you're doing the support gigs around the town and everything. I mean, you had a whole kind of idea in mind. You know what I mean? You had a whole thing you wanted to deliver.
An Ashling.
An ashing?
Ashling, like a vision in Irish.
Oh, right, there you go. Sorry, excuse me. Pale dweller, didn't know it. But, was it something that you know, this was a very, I'm not saying contrived, but a very deliberate thing that you wanted to get across?
No, I mean, like, I think, you know, we make our way through life and I think I'm a big believer in kind of self-education and self-actualization and self-cultivation. Yeah. And I mean, when I was 18, 19 years of age, I wasn't a happy individual, you know.
Right.
And because I felt very insecure with my own abilities, and I just needed to go out into the world and free myself of a lot of that stuff. And
was it the case that you couldn't express yourself that time?
Yeah, it was like, you know, I was. As I said, I didn't go to college, and I was bumming around for a couple of years in Foss and under the Dole and stuff, and that in itself can be very demoralizing, you know. But I got some great songs out of it. It was necessary, you know, because at the time when I was 18, 19, I mean, I could string a few lines together, but it's touching on what you said. It's all about discipline, you know.
But is it? I mean, is it 24 hours a day with you?
Well,
it is. Yeah.
Yeah, man, and thank the gods that it is because, you know. If I don't write for a few days, I start to unravel. Right. You know, it's my means of kind of holding on. And then, as I said as well, about investigating the different parts of your personality. Mm-hmm. You know, to be intoxicated, as it was a Baudelaire said, intoxicated, remain drunk every day, whether it's on wine, whether it's on love, whether it's on poetry. Be drunk, be drunk at all times. Intoxicated.
Live my whole life by that one, yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's true because I mean. My grandfather says, you know, enjoy yourself, it's later than you think.
Yeah.
And that's the whole thing about the gig earlier on as well. I want to try to come to terms with as much of my own psyche as I can before I move on to a different form. And in the music as well, and in the recordings that I've been doing, I mean, I've got a lot of songs that I want to get out there.
Let's talk about that recordings, just to begin on to that. I have to ask you this question every time I meet you. We're all still waiting for an album. I know you're working on it as you can. I mean, is there any progress or update or?
Well,
I'm sure there's progress. Sorry, but
no, there is. But when I came back from America, I went. I told you about trying to shed a skin. You know, you're playing songs for 2 and 3 years, and you become you mature and you evolve. And when I got back from America, I recorded 16 songs and a few whatever poems or spoken word, whatever you want to call them, and just to expel all that. So I've done that, and
are these sorry on your own, just
me, me and the guitar, me and the piano, and I released an EP last year, Strip Me Bare. These are songs, some songs that are going to be featured on this one. There's going to be 6 or 7 songs I'm going to put out, and some of them are old. It's funny. There's a couple I wrote when I was 19, and I really they really held a mirror up to me.
Yeah.
And I thought they were great gifts for that. They gave me great perspective. So I'm going to be releasing them in the next month, the next couple of months.
And will that be through your website like it was announced?
Through Barrack Street Records. And through the website.
Okay, and then coming up next, in the next couple of weeks, is it, or even next week, you're with Richard Thompson. You're doing a few dates with Richard Thompson. Yeah. And then, what did he say to me? You're going to Germany, is it? You're going to... Is it
yeah, Lollapalooza in Berlin. I've never been to Berlin.
I'm just back from Berlin actually last week. Yeah.
It's a great documentary. Is it the B documentary? Or is it? It's about Berlin.
Incredible place.
The students in the late 70s, early 80s.
Yeah, and it's even go out into, you probably will go out into the east, the old eastern side.
Yeah.
It's very strange. It's very bizarre kind of experience. But anyway, after that, then you're back here. You are doing the picnic, is that right?
I'm doing the picnic.
Can you tell me you're doing a ridiculous number of gigs at the picnic or something?
Not as many as last year.
Yeah. How many did you do last year? You did 4 or 5 last year.
4 or 5, yeah. Three this year.
3. So which stage is he on? Do you know? Or?
Body and Soul, Other Voices, and Jellyfish.
All right, Jellyfish, great, yeah. And after that, then, have you planned? I know you have a big gig coming up in Whelan's in. Is that in January? Is that?
Yeah.
January 11th, and people can still get tickets for that if they want. I presume.
It's nearly there.
Nearly there. So
already
they need to move if they want to get them.
But I can't wait for that again because that was my first opportunity to kind of get all the people into one room that really inspired me. Stephen Murphy opened up and filled the room with his bardlings. Junior brother Harry Hoban and the brothers came, and I was kind of watching it all unfold, just in my element. You know?
Yeah, it was a great night. Yeah, I don't know if any of you were there at that, but I couldn't recommend any higher that you try and get a ticket for the Whelan's gig because it was a kind of a thing. You constructed it as a whole show, and these were your friends, and it wasn't. Sometimes you go to a gig and the support band is almost like an afterthought.
No,
but it wasn't like that
at
all.
It's not about that. As I said, from beginning to end, there needs to be a narrative. Everybody has to be there for the right reasons. And everyone that is there is emotionally invested because of that. And that's what I felt as well from everyone that was in the audience. Like from hearing people outside, it was kind of emanating up from the street. And I was upstairs and you could hear this kind of excitement.
Yeah.
And this is just, it's just incredible stuff. It sustained me for months. I got songs out of that. That beacon was lit. And it was everybody that got up with their arse and came to that gig and fulfilled something really special for me, So... That's what I'm saying.
I mean, was that an ambition for a long time,
Yeah.
It's the singer-songwriter place in Dublin, So it must have been looked at that and think, one day I want to go in there and sell a place out,
I just thought, I'd love to have my own gathering in there with people who I love, and that's exactly what it was, so...
Okay. All right, well, in between this and then, is there anything else big coming up in between, after Electric Picnic, between that, run up to Christmas?
I'm just kind of living day to day, to be honest, Pat, but...
Fair enough.
Obviously, those recordings are going to come out, and then I surely have more gigs to be doing. I'm a transient, and I'm an itinerant, living an itinerant lifestyle, and it's something I always wanted. So I'm very grateful for that.
Good enough. I think that's a good place to stop it, I'd say, and let us maybe give us another couple of tunes, ladies and gentlemen. Will you thank David Keenan very much there, please?
Thanks for listening.
Great, David. Great.
The capo is on the 2nd fret. This song is called Tonight I Want to Lie With Someone Who Doesn't Care. I entered a room filled with elbows and knees. The lantern was hanging by a surrealist painting. I opened my mouth, shrapnel sailed to the air. Tonight I want to lie with someone who doesn't care. Tonight I want to lie with someone who doesn't care. If my laces are tied, or my background is poor, or is this too much to ask? You take this lock of my hair, lead me to a lover of the creosote-stained stare. Her skin was the color of an Italian summer. Her eyes carried sadness and hope in equal measure. Her head of tangled curls remained untouched by chemicals, an ancestral trait that made her mother proud. She said she lived by the ocean, but she longed for other fields, for other streets and other alleys, where more crimes are committed. She commented on my lips, then we slowly undressed. I called upon the 9 sisters, while she called out my name. Tonight I want to lie with someone who doesn't care. Oh, if my laces are tied, oh, my background is poor, oh, is this too much to ask? You take this lock of my hair and lead me to love of the creosote-stained stare. Now naked I sat staring on the edge of the bed. I come back down to me boy, for my feet are getting cold. And though your mind be a hive, your beige body needs its rest. I just sucked on a cigarette like a child on a breast. Tonight oh, my background is poor. Oh, is this too much to ask? You take this lock of my hair and lead me to love of the creosote-stained stare. And lead me to lover of the creosote-stained stare. Thank you.
Listen, that's good reception you're getting there. That's pretty good. You're getting with that guitar. Maybe you'd squeeze in one more song if anybody wants to hear one. Would you give us another one?
Yeah.
That'd be all right.
Any requests? James Dean. Is that the general consensus? This is the result of eating 2 baby bells before I went to sleep. Double dropping 2 baby bells. Stabbed me in the chest like the pimp Prudence knife into poor wandering Beckett under a mother of pearl sky. At the back of the wall I bawled, cursing all in real and right, feeling out of sorts like a road sweeper, dressed up to the nines, as the multicolored kite over shoulders taking flight, and the local matador gives 2 fingers to the girl next door. I had a dream that James Dean was alive and well today, looking for the quiet life, working for Irish Rail, and me father's clothes with a bloody nose. He sang, isn't it so sweet? There by the slot machine, there's James Dean, head cold beneath my feet. Then the disciples from the street, they all burst into open doors, and the creaking of the chairs, and the running down the stairs. Pure ecstasy. The circus master smiles, pointing his finger at the mine. I hear the distant call of a boy named Paul, who was taken for his time. And all the precious stones of the mongrel's bone won't entice me. You silly child, you just run on home, for your tea's gone cold, and your mother cursed you by. The back door man feels wrong, switching off when signing on, and the double jointed teeth wins an award for pure indecency. I had a dream that James Dean was alive and well today, looking for the quiet life, working for Irish Rail, and me father's clothes with a bloody nose. I sang, isn't that so sweet? There by the slot machine, there's James Dean, head cold beneath my feet. Then the disciples from the street, they all burst in through open doors, and the creaking of the chairs, and the running down the stairs. Pure ecstasy. I had a dream James Dean was alive and well today. He's working for Irish Rail. Thanks very much. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, David Keenan. Absolutely fantastic, he always is.